the number 19 team in the country, the Utah Utes. Taking on the third-ranked team in the land, the Oklahoma Sooners. For EA Sports College Football, Reese Davis with you alongside David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. And guys, can't wait to get this one started. And the Utes will kick it away to start us off. Not going to risk a return here. He'll make the fair catch. First down here for the offense. Movement from the linebackers trying to mess with the offensive line's assignments. And he goes out of bounds after coming up with positive yardage there. Deep in the season, that crisp air all around you, and this feels like a must-win game, guys.
This is a game that will impact the college football playoff. It'll have conference championship implications, and it'll have bowl game implications as well. David, so much riding on the line in this one.
And you can feel it, man. You can feel the energy. The players this week, they were on high. Like, you could tell they were ready for the challenge. This is going to be an absolute showdown.
Oh, he dropped it, and what a missed opportunity early in this football game.
Well, on defense, they know that this offense is going to try and take shots, so they're going to try and keep their secondary players in a position to make these types of plays. Good job on the back end forcing that incompletion.
Faced with a 3rd and short from their own 32 to keep this drive alive. They'll stick to the ground looking for the marker. Solid work and execution there. They'll have a first down as they mark it at the 40.
It's a really good sign if you're on offense here. You're putting it on your offensive line on 3rd down. Critical down and distance, opening drive of the game. Let those guys fire off, get a hat on a hat. You can run the ball, pick up the first. You're around midfield. And all things looking pretty good here early for this offense.
The Sooners getting set on 1st and 10. They're getting this guy lathered up. You'll take this every time. 5 yards on the first down play.
You know, with defense, it's this pick or poison game, right? Like, I got to play a little bit soft and make them run the football, but when I do that, I give the running back space, and right there you could tell he takes advantage of it.
Halfway there on first down, it's 2nd and 5. Quarterback changing the plays at the line. Wide out in motion. Quarterback quick pass to the receiver.
The offense making a statement early in this game. They're going to open the entire playbook, and they're going to show this defense so many different looks and try to keep them on their heels. I love that play call. You could see the defense wasn't sure what was going on.
And the Sooners have their offense in high gear. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. Just a solid stop by this sophomore.
You know, as a defense, you kind of want to force the give on the RPO. You want them to run the football, and you could tell maybe the quarterback wishes he pulled this. Small gain, but some information you gathered maybe for the next time you get to run an RPO.
Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. Looking downfield, it's Perkins. Finds his big tight end. And his molars are probably rattling after that big hit, but he did get the first down. Just the ability to move the chains, keep the drive going, sort of quintessential efficiency from a Sooner quarterback.
Yeah, and from a Sooner offense because, Reese, they keep the drive going, but what does that do? Most Oklahoma teams over the years, we see them go fast, and they wear you down throughout a football game. So the quarterback play on those completions that move the sticks, that make you play 3 more plays, 4 more plays, 5 more plays, and just wear you out.
Got some work to do after that last play, 2nd and 13. He's looking to throw. Fired that thing out in a heartbeat, but it's incomplete. Ninth play of the drive coming up, but they'll have to convert 3rd and long to keep it going. The give to the back. At the 20, he's got space. Into the end zone unimpeded, except for that piece of laundry on the field. This might be coming back. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. Ninth play of the drive coming up, but they'll have to convert 3rd and long to keep it going. They're looking for an advantage in the running game to the right. And boy, is he close to that first down, maybe just a couple of inches short.
Well, it's a great individual effort by the running back on that last play. It's 3rd and forever. He tried to get his team the first down, not enough. Let's see what they do on 4th.
This offense wants to establish an aggressive identity. They'll go for it on 4th down. Got it past the marker. A quick tackle made, but he's got plenty for the first down. The Sooners moving quickly to the line. They'll try the left side.
They're strong and they're strong. Defensive tackles, they're strong. They're such big jokers in the middle where they just lock out those offensive linemen. And running backs, listen, they don't have much of a chance. When you got that 300-plus pound guy grabbing you around the shoulder pad, you tend to go to the ground pretty quickly.
2nd down coming up on this red zone opportunity. Off play action. Quarterback moving. Good little pickup there as he saw some daylight and got what he could.
Well, great job there by the defense because they weren't able to get him sacked right away, but you saw the coverage in the back end. Nowhere for the quarterback to throw the football. Didn't get the sack, obviously. You don't get the negative play, but you also don't give up a big one. You're feeling pretty good about where you are right now in this drive.
On 3rd and short, the run and looking for the first down. And he's sprinting. He'll take it all the way. Touchdown, Sooner. The Sooner schooner doesn't have a tight turning radius, but it can rev up the Oklahoma crowd, David.
Man, get them started, get them going early, test the limits, get in the end zone, get these people going bananas, just safely. Go bananas, go crazy, but, don't do too much and don't fall over in your seats.
And the extra point makes it 7-0. That is what they mean when they say ball control, a 14-play touchdown drive. And it was capped off with the 8-yard run. About to kick it away after scoring the touchdown. And here's the return. He was looking for more running room, but none to be found as he stopped at the 23. This crowd trying to make life miserable for this offense. Goes to the option. Now the toss. Breaks the tackle. Barrels all the way to the 29, a gain of 6.
This running back just doesn't go down easily. It's just difficult for defenses to get him on the ground. Not overly huge, but if I'm an offensive coordinator, I'm going to continue to find ways to feature him. And just, you know what? Let his talent do the rest.
Got 6 on first down. Now a lot of options on 2nd and 4. Right back to the well. Defense closed down quickly after a gain of 3. They'll mark it at the 32.
All right, well, the offense here, they're trying to get this run game established. They obviously don't break off a long run there, but they're just trying to find their footing at this point.
Faced with a 3rd and short from their own 32 to keep this drive alive. They'll toss it to the outside on the left. The Utes get enough for the first down.
Hard to imagine this is only their first drive of the game, but their defense was on the field for virtually an entire quarter. So, guys, there's a lot of pressure on this offense here to convert this 3rd down so their defense can stay on the sideline and get their win back.
As they get set to snap it, time winding down here in the quarter. They've softened them up with a run. Now to throw it. Gets it out fast. He's brought down. Solid pickup, but a little bit short of the first down. Second down here as they go back to work after the break. Gonna run it. It's good. And he gets the first down, but man, did he get the hit stick laid on his noggin.
And I don't care if I get it by 2, by 20, by 30, by 40. I just want to get the first down, understanding the situation, understanding where the sticks are. Doesn't have to be sexy, but I got to make sure I get to that stick, get to the first down mark.
They'll ride the hot hand. And they try the middle of this stout defense, and they rise to the challenge.
And just a great job by the defense being stout, right? That's your job. Be stout up front, stuff in the run play, make them get in more passing situations, but do not let them run the football. That's 101. Stop the run first.
They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. He's looking to throw, using the quick game. He's there to make the stop, and they threw it in reverse, losing yardage on that play.
Well, that receiver's looking at his teammates like, guys, what's up? You're not going to block for me on the screen? Seriously? No, I just lost yards on a screenplay. How does that happen?
This crowd, full throat, splitting the eardrums and letting them know it's going to be a long day. Trying to move the sticks on 3rd down through the air. Into double coverage, and he picked it off. Got room on the return. And they'll close in on him after a good return on the interception.
QB's got to pick and choose their spots when they want to be really aggressive and try to fit balls in tight windows. Great job by the DB, making a big play, getting the ball back to its offense.
Here comes the Sooner offense back onto the field. Really good balance on that last drive. They mixed it up all over the place, Jesse.
Yeah, and how nice, too, to have the defense on their heels, because at this point, they don't know what's coming at them. They had problems stopping everything that last drive.
So I think this defense would come back with a little more aggressiveness. I mean, they let them have what they wanted. Now they got to dictate to this offense a little bit more.
Line getting set on 2nd down. The give on the inside. And a decent gain there before the defense makes the stop. The Sooners in the hurry-up. Pulls and fired complete. Crosses the 30, he's got away. He will step out of bounds, but not before the big pickup and a first down for this offense. From the shotgun, the inside give. And he's able to find a little bit of running room before they get him down. Going to work in the red zone, they can't pick up the first down without getting it into the end zone. They'll put the tight end in motion. Give to the running back. And he'll step into the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma!
Another rushing touchdown. That's now 2 on the game. This offense thought they could come into this one running the ball, being the more physical team, and they look like it right now.
They'll try to tack one more on their score. And the extra point makes it 14-0. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Guys, right back to your game after we update the nation on this one. Ole Miss came through with a lunch pail, hard hat performance, and the end result is an eye-opening road victory. And I guess it's not so much that they won, it's more how they won, and the fact this wasn't ever really in question. A lot to go through in the film session this week for both teams, but boy, it sure is going to be easier for the side that came away with the win.
And Kevin Connors keeping an eye on everything all over the country. Sounds like they had a good one there. Utah has it back on the offense coming onto the field. Boy, they hope this next drive is more productive after throwing a pick last time, Jesse.
Yeah, and the coaches did a good job on the sideline there, just talking to the young quarterback and making sure he's able to turn the page, calm him down, to go out and refocus this drive.
Yeah, and some people do that better than others, but you got to show some trust in him, maybe get the ground game going, help around him a little bit with this system.
He's looking to throw it. Dumps it to the back. Grab near the marker. It's good. Found a bunch of room and got it to the 44-yard line. They are dialed in on this drive. A couple of chunk plays, and now they'll snap it on first down. They're going to run it. Knocked down at the 29-yard line. Picked up 15 yards on the play, and he's got a first down.
And that is exactly why you stick to running the football. Haven't had a lot of success, but boom, you pop one, right? That's what you got to do. You cannot become one-dimensional and just throw the football every down. Love the offense sticking to the run. Nice job getting the first down.
Well, right away after picking up the first down, they go right back to their playmaker at running back, and I love the push they got up front, getting a hat on a hat, opening a huge hole for the back.
And you become so hard to defend when you can run the football successfully on first down. You're starting like that. Now what opens up? Play action. Now you're making me play pass and run. This offense, if they can create that run physicality, now it opens up everything else.
Operating in the red zone here on second down. Leaves it with the back. So close to that end zone. He can almost taste it, but it'll be first and goal for this offense. Clock stops momentarily for the first down. They'll hurry to the line. Moving the running back, forcing the defense to adjust. He's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 3.
And this is the area of the field where it gets really, really tough. Because the red zone, you know you got to run the football more. Well, this defense is #1 in the nation against the run. So I look for this offense to be more physical, be creative, try to find ways to run the ball against this defense that is so dynamic.
And he's loose, and he'll take it to the house. Touchdown, Utah!
And that's a nice drive, a nice physicality, punching it in with the run game. And here's the thing. I like where this offense is going. Nice job creating some momentum, going into the half, cutting down the lead. This thing could get really exciting. Nice job answering the bell right before the half.
And he added the extra point. Almost ready to kick it away after scoring the touchdown. And they desperately wanted to attempt a return, but decided not to. Instead, they'll take the touchback. Here comes the Oklahoma offense. What a good mix of plays, keeping that defense off balance last time, David.
And Reese, they don't know if it's run or if it's pass. They got them right where they want it. This defense doesn't know how to react from getting punched in the mouth.
Can anyone catch him? He's up to 90 yards on the ground, and he just continues to turn in productive performance after productive performance. That's how you lead the nation in rushing. Off the play fake on first down. Using his legs, keeping his eyes downfield. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces second down. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. Second down coming up. They'll run it to the right side. And it'll be a pickup of 9. They're facing a 3rd and 1. And the Sooners want to crank the tempo. Linebackers moving, trying to confuse the quarterback. They turn to the passing game on 3rd and short. Now they're really starting to threaten as they pick up the first down at the 34-yard line. Leaves it with the running back. They'll pick up 4, 2nd and 6 coming. Tried to pound it on first down, now back to the line. They'll go right back to the run. And he has a solid gain before the defense bottles him up. Ball's at the 26. It's 3rd and short, and they'd love to pick up the first down and avoid settling for the field goal. That run epitomizes a veteran, savvy senior who knows how to find space. Running to the left. You'll take 4 yards on first down every time, 2nd and 6. They'll immediately call timeout. Time dwindling away as they try to put points on the board right before the half. Power football with the run. And they'll bring him to the ground after a short gain. Offense calls a timeout here. Critically important to make sure they have the right play call and everyone on the same page here. Trying play action. Quarterback moving out of the pocket. He's out of bounds, but not before picking up enough for the first down.
Well, the defense just spent a whole lot of energy, too. That was a long play. That developed and took time, and they were pursuing, and they weren't able to get him initially. So you got dudes huffing and puffing and sucking wind, and this offense all of a sudden down close to your goal line. You might want to consider subbing some fresh bodies out on the field.
Just enough time for one final play in this half. Trying to barge in. Into the end zone he goes. Touchdown Sooners!
What a day. His 3rd rushing touchdown. When you've got your college fantasy football team going, this guy is racking those points up for you. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Now they'll line up for what they hope is automatic. And the kick is good, but there's a penalty flag, and I think it's going to be roughing the kicker. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. You get that touchdown right before the half, build the momentum, and the last thing you need to do is mess it up by allowing a big kickoff return. It bounds through the back of the end zone. It'll be a touchback. One more snap coming before halftime. looks as if he's going to run it. They'll knock him down, and that'll take us to halftime. First half in the books. Time now to join Kevin Connors in our halftime update. The Sooners will line up to kick off and start the second half. Coming out with it, it's Luna. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. Utah offense returns ready to go back on the attack. Trailing by a couple of scores, they'd like to generate some confidence here early in the third quarter.
Down 2 possessions, the coaching staff met in at halftime, and they've probably scripted this opening drive. Just like they do at the start of the game, they've now got an idea of what plays they feel most confident in, what plays their quarterback is seeing the best to go out here and execute a scoring drive.
Well, and it's nice to get the ball first. Like, I got the first opportunity to close the gap a little bit, apply some great game pressure to these guys. So I think getting the ball first, driving down, scoring right here will be huge.
You know, it's a nice throw by the QB there. When you're throwing to running backs, you got to make it easy. So you want to put it right on their body, make the catch simple, and let them go to work like they did just there, getting that first.
Comes out throwing on first down. One-step wrap, two-step squeeze. This junior knows how to get him on the ground. And the Utes want to pick up the tempo. Looking to pass on second down. Get it out on the screen. At the 40, there he goes. He's run out of bounds, but not before. Turning in a big pickup and moving the sticks for a first down. The execution on that screen pass is one that will go in a coaching clinic.
Nice execution on the screen. Allow the rush to come upfield. Now I release, get the ball to the running back. I got my playmaker in space. Nice chunk yardage play right there by the offense.
Oh, look out! Finally run out of bounds, but he has this offense rolling with a first down. It is getting loud as this crowd tries to help its defense. The offense will have to use its first timeout of the half.
Timeout, Utah.
This crowd knows when to bring it. They'll leave it with him. He bullies his way all the way down to the 5-yard line.
Hey, 5 to 6 yards a pop. I don't know if you guys are really good at math, but that usually equals a first down every couple carries. So don't forget about the run game. Keep them honest, pound that rock.
It'll be second down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. Now on the option. The pitch. They get him on the ground at the 3-yard line, but this defense is taking some punches.
As a quarterback, you've got to know in this area of the field, it's tough to throw, right? The windows, they open and close so quickly when you get down to the red zone. What helps you is running the football, but that's tough today because you're going up against one of the top 25 defenses stopping the run.
Boy, they'd love to pick up this conversion and go to work with a first and goal. And that defensive penetration gave him no chance, and he is ridden out of bounds. This defense happy with how that last play turned out, so they'll decline the penalty. a double-digit deficit here in the second half. They're going to go for it on fourth down. And you can give all the credit to the crowd for that one. Offense, no chance, and call for the false start. Facing this double-digit deficit here in the second half, almost a no-brainer to go for it on fourth down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Touchdown, Utes! A Lazarus-like comeback is underway. The field position was bad. The finish was great. Great way to answer that poor field position.
Poor field position, no problem. How about it? Great job by the offense coordinator. This offense getting in a good rhythm early, even backed up, even in a predictable situation. Great job coming out.
And with the extra point, every little bit counts as they get closer. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Fellas, I think at least a portion of your audience will have an interest in the one that just finished up. Miami opened up a can, and how many times can you say you went into someone else's building and beat them by double digits? It's what happened today, and the rest of college football should take notice. It's one game. You don't want to react too much either way, but I think both teams will leave this one with some things to work on moving forward.
Yeah, how about that? Sounds as if they had a good ball game there. Kevin, thanks for the update. So Oklahoma has it again, and here comes the offense. You want to talk about a drive where you impose your will? That's what they did, running it down for a touchdown, David.
There is.
And it's loose. Oh, it looks like the offense was able to recover it. The Sooners come to the line in the hurry-up. I don't know if it was luck or aggression or just a fortuitous bounce, but at least they've got the ball back.
Well, one thing I do know, Reese, this running back has got to do a better job.
Hit the afterburners, kid. And they are pushing the ball down the field. A big pickup on that one, and the tackle is finally made.
What a weapon this guy is, right? The tight end position, not only can he get open, he can run away from people after the catch. He's a big dude, so he's hard to bring down anyway, but the speed is what makes him different.
Going to be a gain of about 3 down to the 21. Got 3 on first down at 2nd and 7. Rides to the back. Brought to the ground, but not before getting enough for the first down. And the Sooners will snap it on 1st and 10. Red pass hits complete. And an absolutely fearless tackle, giving up size, still got him on the turf. From the shotgun, the handoff to the back. He almost punched it in for 6. They'll get him down at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, another good run. I feel like we could put that on loop, Jesse. Just another good run. Another good run. Another good run. Over 150 yards on the day. He's been the complete package, showing off all his skills today.
They'll run it on 1st and goal. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one.
Well, and you see the sense of urgency now going up, right, David, on defense here, creating a negative play with their backs up against the wall.
Everybody's selling out to stop the run. Nice job being aggressive by this defense.
Looking to throw, it's Perkins. And now, after getting knocked back, they'll try it again, this time from the 5 on 3rd and goal. He'll try the left side. Touchdown, Oklahoma! And they add 6 more to the board with that trip to the house. That, his 40th career touchdown run.
This guy's had a lot of success throughout his career, but 40 touchdowns is something that's pretty commendable, David. He continues to challenge himself each and every game and every year to get better.
Yeah, just the consistency has been so impressive. The offense is built around him. Like, he's going to get the football, he's going to be featured, and still finds the end zone week after week.
Good concentration to get that squibber inside the 15. Able to find enough room to get it out across the 25. He's brought down at the 26.
Will take over. 1st and 10.
Offense set on 1st down. Looking to move it through the air. He's going to let one fly down the middle. And he's got it at the 25. Touchdown, Utah! You thought they were done. They're not. They're back, baby.
One of the reasons this offense is so exciting to watch, they've got guys that are dangerous after the catch. And if this quarterback gets through his progression, David, he hits you in stride, these guys will take it to the house.
Man, it's your job to do the rest, right? You hit me in stride where I don't have to stop running. I don't have to break down. It makes it so easy. The connection between quarterback, wide receiver, you can tell this is a good one, and that's why they got 6 on that play.
And the extra point was good as they finished the drive. About to kick it off after punching it in for the touchdown. Let's see if he can make a play on the return. Smashes through the tackle. He stopped at the 23, a couple of yards short of where he would have been with a touchback. Time for this Sooner offense to go back to work. An unforced error there. They don't get the snap off in time. That is a completely avoidable penalty. The quarterback just went into brain lock and lost track of the play clock. The offense lining up for a 1st down play. Wide receiver shows motion. Trying to get the edge with a quick touch pass. Solid fundamentals on that tackle from this freshman.
He's brought back at the 19-yard line. 2nd down coming up. That's the end of the 3rd quarter of play. With the score, Oklahoma 28, Utah 21.
Second down now as they're ready to go back to work. Finds the tight end. And he might be known for run fits, but that was a sure and heavy tackle on the tight end. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to throw for it. And the incomplete pass will bring up 4th down.
And that is a frustrating possession for this offense. You wanted to run the football, maybe take some time. You did the opposite. Got in a bad situation, threw the football, stopped the clock. Not how you manage a game late in the 4th quarter.
The Sooners will bring the punt team onto the field. First time today we've seen a punter go to work. First one of the day is off. He was called on 3 times in that victory last week. A fair catch taken just inside the 40-yard line. Utah has it back in the offense coming onto the field. They torched this defense with an explosive passing play for a score last time out. Let's see if they go right back at them. Really nice run there. Good, solid pickup, and they'll move the sticks with a first down.
How do you not respect the big fellas? This doesn't take you back in the time machine to the days when a fullback was on the field every single play. Then you're missing out, because fullbacks are awesome. They're just low maintenance. They're not divas like wide receivers. They just block most of the time, don't say much. And then you give them the football, and occasionally you get some big plays like this, and they hit somebody so hard they got snot bubbles coming out of their nose.
Running back goes in motion. They'll run the option. And the defense stops him just short of the first down. Maybe needed a few more chain links to move the sticks.
Listen, you got to be able to know what play to call and what hole to go through. Like the line blocks for a certain hole. Good job getting through the hole, getting what was blocked, getting a nice positive gain, making your situation really good on the next down.
Big third down as the crowd gets behind this defense. The Utes pick up the first down.
And David, this is where I think you could have excelled. You're a great defensive end. There's other positions you could have played. Fullback, I know, being one of them. How about that guy there picking up the first?
That's a nice job. Don't make this hard. Don't make it overly complex. We've seen the big fellas block all the time. Give him a bone, reward him. Now he'll block harder and he'll block longer in the future.
Well, they're trying to attack the middle of the field. That time the ball a little too high for his wide receiver, and it falls incomplete.
Maybe a little frustrated after that last incompletion. It's 2nd and 10 from the 38. On the option. He's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 3.
Well, they're trying to hand it off to the fullback for a quick hitter, but just nowhere to go. The defensive line, great job getting penetration to set up that play.
Decibels rising as the crowd gets behind this defense on third down. He's looking downfield to throw. Caught in the backfield. It's Garrison. He couldn't find anywhere to go, and now it's 4th down.
Well, it's third down. You're getting it to your back in the passing game to the perimeter. You're just hoping he can make a guy miss and use his athleticism and speed, but a way better job tackling that time defensively, now setting up 4th.
And here we go, down to score. They'll go for it on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. He'll take a deep shot here. Fires into traffic, intercepted. And they'll drag him down after a good return on the interception.
And that is a back-breaker. It's 4th down, though. Listen, you got to throw the football. You got to try to make a play. But the defense came up big in a big moment.
Here comes the offense on first down. The give as they work on that clock. Not a whole lot of room there. 3 yards maybe. 2nd and 7.
And I like the first thought process right here. Run the football. We want to run that clock with the lead. Thank you to the defense for forcing that turnover, setting us up. Now if we can put a few first downs together, we're looking really good.
They're testing the right side here. That's what you expect from a senior. Don't give them any extra yards. Great tackle there. Quick timeout called by the defense, stopping the clock to save as much time as possible for their offense. The D thinking bring some heat on 3rd and long from the 44. They're going to run it to the right. He's got first down yardage across the 50. They'll mark it at the 49.
Well, that's kind of the advantage of 3rd and medium, right? Is the defense, you keep them guessing. You could throw it, you can run it. That time they hand it off and they pick it up.
And you can see the D drop back a little bit. It creates a little bit of space. The running back blasts through, gets the first down.
The Sooners have it with a 1st and 10. We have arrived at the 2-minute warning, a one-possession game as this offense tries to hold on. It'll be a first down from the 49-yard line. They'll give it to him again. And a nice solid pickup there before the defense wrestles him to the ground.
You know, it's so important for offenses to want to keep 3rd downs manageable. The way you do that is by having success like that, running the football on 1st down.
They're in control of the clock as their friend. You'd have to expect another run here on 2nd and 6. They'll try the right side. Not a whole lot of progress made there on the short run.
At the 42-yard line. 3rd down coming up.
They have work in front of them on 3rd and short from the 42. Here we go. Quarterback reacting to what the D is showing. On 3rd and short, they'll go to the power running game. And gang tackling on this dude is a good idea. They needed it, but he still got the first down.
Man, this offense would really like to lean on this guy in the 4th quarter, right? They've got the lead, and you just saw his ability there, breaking a tackle. He looks like he's getting stronger as the game goes on. I'd expect him to get a few more carries here before this game's over.
Got stuffed on first down. It's 2nd and 10. They'll see if they can find some running room on the right here. Able to pick his way forward for a decent game before the defense gets him down. Defense uses a timeout quickly, trying to get that ball back and preserve time for their offense. Eighth play of the drive coming. It'll be a 3rd and 6. Receiver on the move gets the touch pass. Got some room headed to the goal line. And he gets it into the end zone for a touchdown, a gut punch to this defense, and probably a knockout punch.
Some would say run out the clock. Some would say I don't need to add points. But here's the thing. It's your job to stop them on defense. Now listen, the handshakes, they might get a little bit interesting after this game, but the offense did their job.
And he tacked on the extra point. Lining up to cover the kick after that touchdown drive. That ball skips through the end zone. It's a touchback, and they'll take over at the 25-yard line. On 1st down. Here comes this offense. Use the play fake, now to throw. He's going up top here late in the game. And he's picked off again. His night vision hasn't been up to speed. His third interception. And he goes to the ground, and that's how this game is going to end. All business today for this ball club. They come out, and they get the win.
And that's all that matters. It's not always pretty. You don't always do everything you want to do or check all the boxes. But at the end of the game, Jesse, you want that W.
No doubt about it. They made the plays they needed to make in order to get this win. I thought the quarterback showed tremendous poise, good leadership throughout the course of the game. Defense made stops when they had to make them. So, right, there were some things that are going to need to clean up moving forward, but ultimately they were the better team today.
That's going to do it for us. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, our entire broadcast team, I'm Reese Davis. This has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.